this is a really interesting aspect of being in Bitcoin because it seems like everyone that's gone down the rabbit hole reports this effect. And it's not the same. Everyone has their own flavor of interacting with Bitcoin and how it's changed their life, but they all have a common theme in that it's usually you're thinking longer term, you're becoming more family oriented, maybe you're focusing on your health a little more, or your corporate job a little less, or you're questioning the assumptions that you've taken for granted throughout your life. So it just broadens your sphere of understanding. And I would argue too, it sort of deepens your morality, makes you a little more selfless. And there's the latest place I'm at in the rabbit hole is we've all heard of alchemy. And we think it's these crazy guys from a long time ago that thought they could turn lead into gold, right? What alchemy actually was there was a point where the church thought that Christ was the final redeemer. So that by Christ sacrificing his life on the church, or for humanity, for sacrificing himself for the sins of humanity, that it essentially covered and redeemed everyone forever. There was nothing left for us to do as people other than follow Christ. And alchemy took an interesting approach in that they actually thought that there was yet still redemptive knowledge to be discovered in the laboratory of nature. So they thought that by experimenting with natural substances, trying to recombine them and perform experiments, that we could actually find something that would be redemptive to humanity, so that we could discover the essence of Christ in nature, right? So something which is kind of interesting. And at the time, this was a heretical concept. The church did not want you to experiment in nature at all. So these guys were a bit rebellious, and the alchemical methodologies they developed, it actually became refined over time to form the scientific method. So this was, again, a fork off of the church, if you will. This was practiced for thousands of years all over the world, and it became science. So alchemy was like proto-science. I mean, even Isaac Newton, right, who we still model our universe a lot on what he said, Einstein disrupted a lot of it, was an alchemist. He was a known alchemist, and he was also in charge of the Bank of England for a long time. So it's interesting that, alchemy forked off and became science, and the aim of alchemy was not actually the development of gold. I mean, they were trying to create gold, but their real aim was to create an incorruptible substance that would serve as the antidote to the corruption of the world. And very interestingly, it's like now we have Bitcoin, which is clearly a development of science. It's kind of like the vanguard of our technological achievement. But it's also inspiring this religious-like fervor in people. So you're kind of seeing this union of religion and science again. And it's the first thing that we've ever created that is actually incorruptible, right? Again, we only had two certainties in life before Bitcoin. We had death and taxes. And now we have our third certainty, which is 21 million Bitcoin. So we have this incorruptible substance, and then it holds the promise of eliminating a lot of the corruption in the world, just like the alchemists predicted. So it's a real rabbit hole. I think, do your own homework. I've read a lot of Jordan Peterson on this subject. His book Maps of Meaning is great. But it's not just a bunch of crazy people that were trying to make gold. It was guys that were figuring out everything you take for granted in modernity is because of alchemy. Alchemy became science, and science led to all of this.